Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching from around the world. Welcome to Noob Journey. I'm Hanson. I'm your host. Today, Noob Journey is a show where I'm learning perp decks from ground up, and I'm taking you along from the entire journey. And yes, this is happening live, so if you're watching on YouTube right now, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe. Also, make sure to head over to Nevada TV, sign up, jump into the chat, talk with other traders, and earn points just by chatting while you're live. Even if you're brand new, that's where the community hangs out. And alright, Noob Journey starts now, let's get into it. So, since we're learning about perp decks and I'm new, I don't even know where to begin with. But I think the best way to start is to search what perp decks is and maybe learn about the history for real quick. And let's just Google it and see what it is. So let me pull up the screen right here. So here, let's see. What's perp decks? Let's pick the first one and see what it says. So what is a perpetual dex? Here it says perpetual decentralized exchange, or is known as perpdex, is a blockchain-based platform for trading perpetual futures contracts with no expiry date. Unlike centralized exchanges, perpdexes are non-custodial. Users keep full control of their funds via wallet. Smart contracts, oracles, and funding rates automate pricing, settlement, and risk management transparently on-chain. Okay. So, but I mean, this is a key takeaway. But let's read what it says. Here, it's a blockchain-based platform for trading perpetual future contracts, derivatives that let users go long or short on assets without an expiry date. Unlike centralized exchanges, perpdex is a non-custodial, meaning trades run on smart contracts and users keep control of their wallets. To keep contract prices close to spot markets, these platforms use a funding rate mechanism where long and shorts pay each other depending on price imbalances. Okay. So, basically from what it says, what I understood is that it's basically a trading tool or a mechanism where you can trade online with your own wallet. And from like a background information, from what I know, is that it's supposed to be for crypto trading, and specifically for crypto trading, because here it says the trades runs on smart contracts. Well, Oh, here, some key features and components of perpdex. Let's see. A perpetual decentralized exchange combines several building blocks that make perpetual trading possible. Okay, combines several building blocks that make perpetual trading possible. Here, perpdex. Perpetual contracts. So there's perpetual contracts, okay. Derivatives with no expiry date, letting traders hold positions indefinitely. Okay, so I guess basically you can trade all day long. I mean, here in the regular stock market, it starts at 9:30 and ends around like 4, right? I mean, I'm sure you can trade a little early, around like 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I guess stock market really depends on different market where you're from, but because it says no expiry date and you can hold positions indefinitely, So maybe you can trade it for like the whole time 24/7. Okay. Users trade directly from their wallets. Um, okay. I'll have to check that one out too. There's a lot of questions that it's related to this whole fundamentals of perpdex. Interesting. Oracles provide real-time price feeds to keep contract prices aligned with spot markets. All right, let's just keep reading and see what it is. Right, I'm still learning, and you guys are learning as like I'm learning too. Right, I have zero knowledge on how this works. All right, so let's just keep on reading and see what it is. Funding rate mechanism. Periodic payments between longs and shorts ensure perpetual prices track underlying asset prices. Let's see. Liquidity models. So it looks like there are two different types of perpdexes. Here it says some of them use AMMs and the other use on-chain order books or hybrids. Let's check that out. I actually want to look more into that, but for now, I'll just write that down in the note so that we can revisit and learn more about it. Maybe in the next episode. Because today I'm more curious about what it is and where it originated from, like the history of it. Right? Like, I even know like who came up with this idea of this perpetual DEX. Right? So, here. Let me write it down. Let's go. Risk management, of course, right? Because if you're trading, there has some kind of you've got to take risk, right? So smart contract enforce margin rules, liquidation, and sometimes insurance funds of stability. Very important, right? Imagine you're trading and your position's just gone, right? It just doesn't make sense. And governance and tokenomics. Many platforms issue governance tokens, rewarding users, enabling community-driven decision-making. Together, these components allow perpdex to offer trustless, transparent alternatives to centralized derivative platforms. I really like this website. I mean, it organizes all the information that I really need to learn. But again, what I want to do is that I want to learn some basics and hopefully in the future have a teacher like invited and walk me through a step-by-step how to set up the wallet, because we just talked about, right, we have to figure out what a wallet is, what different types of perpdexes are there, and how we can trade, because here it says it uses smart contract to leverage, right, the leverage capacity. So maybe near future we'll invite someone like a teacher who will be able to teach me, right? And good. And then it says risk and liquidation. Smart contracts monitor margin ratios. If collateral falls below the threshold, positions are liquidated automatically. Insurance funds step in during extreme volatility. I have no idea how that works, but it's okay. We'll have someone who can help me explain this. And also, if I don't understand, we always have help of ChatGPT. Because if you're not aware, I've seen from our different shows for the Nevada TV trades, right, and the competition shows, I've seen competitors use ChatGPT, asking questions how to trade, what coins to trade, And let's ask ChatGPT later to explain this in a very simple term, as to someone who's non-technical. Because I'm sure somebody who's watching this right now, you guys could be, you guys could have some technical background, some might not. I don't have any technical background, and I've never traded like crypto ever before, so I need someone to explain this in a very simple, easy to understand terms, and we have ChatGPT. We'll ask ChatGPT. We'll read this and ask again. Settlement on closing on protocol calculates P&L, exit price, right, minus entry price, right. No audio for me, but I like that you are starting from the basics. Oh, Boston DM, welcome back. Yes, I'm starting from the basics. Everything's new. But today I just wanted to look at the overall basics, right? Like the fundamentals. Even if you don't understand while I'm reading, it's perfectly fine. I don't understand it either, right? I think it will be very helpful later in the future when we actually have a hands-on experience, like actual trading, and we'll have a chance to set up the wallet or even create wallet. Why not, right? So here, it answers exactly what we needed to find out. Here it says how to use perpetual decentralized exchange. Here, PerpDex. Getting started with PerpDex is simple, but traders should understand each step before committing capital. Yes, that is very important. I don't want to endorse any specific like crypto coins or anything. Like you guys have to understand this. All right, I'm trying to understand as well. So here it says set up a wallet. Instead of install a trusted non-custodial wallet such as Backpack? MetaMask? I've heard of MetaMask. Yes, or Phantom, depending on the blockchain the PerpDex supports. Fund it with the stable coins, USDT, USDC, or other accepted collateral. So, yes, you have to have some form of wallet where you can top up and insert, have the USDT in there or USDC in there. And that wallet is connected to PerpDex, and only by then you'll be able to trade. So interesting. So if you don't have wallet, make one, and it might not be today, but maybe in the next episode we'll have a session. Why not set up a wallet? We'll see how it works. Connect to the PerpDex, yes. Visit the official exchange website and connect your wallet. Always double check the URL to avoid phishing sites or fake contracts. Yes, this is very important. You cannot use any like random PerpDexes, right? I agree with that because I don't want to trade anything that's that's fishy. I don't know. Like I don't want to spend money on something that could jeopardize my capital. Great. And deposit collateral. Approve the transfer of stable coins or crypto assets into the DEX smart contract. This collateral acts as margin for leveraged trades. Okay. Choose market and position. Select the perpetual contract. For example, like Bitcoin perp or Ethereum perp, BTC perp, ETH perp. Decide whether to go long, bet price will rise, or short, the bet price will fall. Okay. And set leverage. Adjust leverage according to your risk appetite. Higher leverage increases profit potentials, but also the risk of liquidation. Okay. I can say one thing about this as a producer for the Nevada TV competition. I've seen competitors put like 20 times leverage, 40 times leverage, right? Like I'll have to learn how the whole how that mechanism work once we have some guest invited. We'll be able to explain this, but I've seen someone who would max leverage it, and they're leading the leaderboard, and towards the end of the game, they lost almost everything. All right, so high leverage means increases profit potential, but also risks of liquidation, meaning high risk, high return. Okay, and place an order. Execute instantly at current price. True, true. Limit order executes only at your chosen entry price. Many perp decks also support stop loss and take profit orders. Ooh, stop loss and take profit. That we'll also revisit too. If you're watching this and you have a question about anything, feel free to leave any comments from the live chat. I'm reading it, so I'll stop and we can look into it, because this is not just a show where I'll be leading the whole program, but if there's any questions that I can help you guys clarify, like, feel free to leave any comments, right? And monitor positions and funding rates, okay. And then close or adjust position. Makes sense, because after you have set your positions and you feel like right now is a good time to liquidate it, go ahead. If not, then nope, right? Good. So I guess we just, in the past like 15 minutes, we just went over the very rough outline. So one thing that we do know that is the perpetual DEX, it runs 24/7, and it's not centralized, and you'll need a wallet or some form of like a wallet that you can connect to PerpDex and trade there. And here it says that once you have those, you can go into one of the PerpDex platforms and trade. Now, I think it's pretty simple. It's not that difficult. But as I've mentioned earlier, let's go to ChatGPT and ask once more. So, some questions that we had for the past 15 minutes is that, number one, do I have to have some kind of form of wallet? Or what kind of type there is? And even lastly, where can I actually go and find trade it? So let's ask those three. So number one, let's go to ChatGPT and ask, same question, what is PerpDex? It says, isn't a widely recognized official term, so it usually means different things depending on context. Okay. Let me do this. What is perpetual decentralized exchanges? I think that will clarify. ChatGPT. Here it says, PerpDexes are crypto trading platforms that are on-chain and let you trade perpetual future contract without a centralized intermediary. And let's unpack that in plain English. Yep, that's what I needed. Start with perpetual, lets you go long or short. Yep, has no expiration date. Yep, we went through that. Uses a funding rate to keep the contract price close to the spot price. Okay. And you're basically betting on price movement, often with leverages. Okay, 5 times, 10 times, 50 times. Okay. What makes it a DEX? Runs on blockchain, like Ethereum, Arbitrum, or Optimism. Uses a smart contract instead of a company to manage trade. Yes. And lets you trade from your own wallet. And is typically permissionless. Okay, now, how PerpDex actually work? Whoa, AMMs. We just saw this, but I think let's not dive into too much detail today because we're just learning about fundamentals, right? Let's revisit our second question. Do we need our wallet? Do I have to set up a wallet to trade? So my question is, do I need to set up a wallet to trade at Perpdex? And yes, the GPT says, yes, you do need a wallet to trade on perpetual decentralized exchange because that's how you connect to the protocol and keep custody of your funds. So what that actually means in practice. Okay, it says what kind of wallet? I mean, I've got a wallet, but I mean, I have a wallet like MetaMask because I've heard of it, but I don't really use it that much. But here it says a browser wallet like MetaMask, Rabby, Coinbase wallet, mobile wallet, Trust Wallet, Rainbow, hardware wallets, Ledger, Trezor. Most Perpdexes work best with MetaMask or Rabby on desktop. Good thing that I have MetaMask, but we have a lot of we have new topics that we can definitely cover in the future about MetaMask, AMMs, and I'm writing these down as we're going. So if there's any additional topics that you'd like to ask, leave it in the chat, in the live chat. But before we decide on some Perpdexes, we'll take a quick 5-minute break because we're almost halfway through our live session. So when we're back from our break, we're gonna look at which Perpdexes we should use, or what are some well-known ones that we can use, right? So I'll be back, and I'll be back. Hello, I'm back. So, we left off just before we asked question about which perp decks we should be using. Now, let's search here at our teacher for today, the ChatGPT. Right there. Which should I use? Okay, here. I asked which perpetual decentralized exchange perp decks should I use to trade. Here are some most notable perpetual decentralized exchanges perp decks you might consider if you want to trade decentralized perpetual futures. And wow, number 1 says Hyperliquid, one of the largest and most liquid perp decks with deep order books and fast execution. Okay. EdgeX, popular for high executions, speed, and strong liquidity across many markets. Okay. Designed to feel more like a high performance order book than a simple AMM. It seems like the word AMM is being repeated multiple times here. Not just here, but also in our previous the website. So we'll have a separate session just going over the difference between AMM and order book style, and there was a brief mentioning about hybrid as well. So let's definitely review that in our next episode. And here it says lighter, zero knowledge powered perpetual decks with low fees and transparent on-chain execution. Okay. So these three are the most used and widely used perp decks. Interesting. And now the next one is other worthy perp decks are Apex Protocol, Aster, and Drift Protocol. Okay. And reading the chat here. Okay. An established trusted option, DYDX, one of the longest running decentralized perp platforms known as reliability and advanced order capabilities. Well, actually, I want to start trading because I'm the type of person who wants to get my hands on and start doing things, but I should be careful. I should be very careful about this because I'll have to put my money in it. So before we dive in which perp decks to use, I'll be asking around. I'll ask some people. I mean, if you guys are watching this and you guys have a suggestion of which one we should be using, please tell me. All right. But since it says Hyperliquid up here, so let's trade at Hyperliquid first for now. And oh, perfect. This is what I exactly needed. It says quick comparison. Some strength here. Hyperliquid, deep liquidity, fast execution, EdgeX, high performance, many markets, lighter, zero fees. Zero fees. So I mean, I'm sure when I trade stocks, I mean, they do take some fees. So perp decks should also do that. It makes sense. With zero fees, interesting. And Apex, multi-asset trading and tokenized stocks. High leverage and multi-chain and Aster. And Drift Protocol. There's this Solana executions and liquidity. DYDX, long-standing and it is proven. But since DYDX is long-standing, maybe it is and it's a long-standing one, so maybe it's more reliable. But number 1, it says Hyperliquid, so. And I've seen competitors from our Nevada TV competitions using Hyperliquid. So I'm leaning towards maybe DYDX or Hyperliquid. And if there is a better perp decks out there, we'll revisit and introduce it to you guys. And it says, if you want, tell me your trading style. For example, like beginner, scalper, long-term, max leverage, and which blockchain you prefer, like Ethereum, Solana, or others. And ChatGPT can recommend what to trade. Okay. But that's for us to revisit in the future. But for today, I wanted to know about fundamentals and its history. So I guess we just went over the website of what is a perp dex, and just got some recommendations, got some questions about, like, do I need the wallet, right? Which platform should I use? What are some main features? But I'm really interested about the history. Like, I'm sure it came out from inspiration of something, right? Maybe the regular stock exchange. But let's see. Their history of perp dex. Five-minute read. So, let's see. I'm just gonna read really quickly and just pinpoint some important lines, because I don't want you guys to be just sitting here and just listening to me reading this. So here, perpetual futures are among the few fields that the best represents the dynamic nature of the decentralized finance DeFi industry. Good. Perfect especially the product utilized most by experienced traders. I see. Okay. So it says perpetual futures contracts are a well-known financial tool in the conventional world, providing leverage exposure to an asset with no expiration date. Yeah, we just went through that. Yes. Key innovations driving rise of the decentralized perpetual futures. Yeah, it must have been very a niche market. Here it says improved scalability and lower fees. With the introduction of new high-performance blockchain like Solana and Layer 2 scaling solutions like L2s like Arbitrum and Optimism. Enhanced liquidity models. So, what this is basically saying is that because there were technologies and features available like now, so it must have gotten developed because of these, like availability and improved scalability of the lower fees, and then enhanced liquidity models and capital efficiencies. And all of these came together and sort of created this whole scene of perp dexes. But again, we're going to go back to ChatGPT and ask, tell me where and so it says perpetual dexes didn't just pop out of nowhere. They're the result of two separate ideas colliding over time. Wow. Perpetual futures from traditional finance and decentralized exchanges from crypto. Okay. The original idea, the perpetual futures, so pre-crypto, the perpetual contract itself is not a crypto invention. It was invented in 1992 by Robert Shiller, and he won a Nobel Prize. And the original goal was to create futures markets that never expire, so prices track spot markets continuously. And that's exactly what Pertexes is, right? It runs 24/7. And key innovations is that the funding rate, the periodic payments between longs and shorts to keep prices aligned. So traditional finance never adopted perpetuals at scale, but crypto did very hard. And then the crypto adopts the perpetuals, which is a centralized era, and this happened between 2016 and 2019. And it says crypto markets were volatile, global, and traded 24/7, and it was perfect for perpetuals. BitMEX in 2016 popularized the perpetual swaps in crypto, and the traders love that there's no expiry date, high leverage, and it's a very simple mechanics. I had the chance to trade a little, and it wasn't too difficult to pick it up. I mean, but still, Perptex quickly became a dominant crypto derivative. At this point, everything was still centralized. So I guess even back then, even though it is a crypto, it was a centralized trading. Was still custodial, opaque, single points of failure. That set the stage for decentralization. Then the DeFi arise, but early DEXs can't do perps. So early DeFi focused on spot trading through Uniswap and lending, and there's a compound in it. And why no perps yet? I see. So Ethereum was slow and expensive, oracles were immature, liquidations were complex, order books on-chain were impractical, so while perp stayed centralized. Okay. And then the breakthrough, on-chain perpetuals. This is where perpetual DEXs are truly born. 2020 and 2021. Also, very new technologies. Okay, key pioneers of perpetual protocol in 2020 introduced the VAMM, virtual AMM. No real liquidity pool. Algorithmically determined prices. First credible on-chain perp system, and DYDX. Yes, DYDX was mentioned. It was one of the longest standing perp DEXs, and it says combine smart contracts with off-chain matching, on-chain settlement, off-chain speed. Became the first perp DEX with serious volume. Okay. This provided something huge. You can do leverage derivatives without a centralized exchange. Okay. And then after this era, there was a design evolution where different architectures emerged, each solving different problems. So I guess there were some problems related to existing perp DEXs. I thought it would have been perfect as it is from 2020 and 2021, but let's see what kind of evolutions were there. So VAMS, simple, capital efficient, but the downside was that the price impact, and there was some manipulation risk. Okay, and an example, a liquidity pool backed up perps, or example like GMX. Long positions act as a counterparty. Traders get low slippage, and positions take directional risk. Okay, so at this point, Boston Damo left a comment real quick here. Let's see. It says, What is that background? Oh, this whole background. It's from our intro. Okay, I was able to follow through until the breakthrough of on-chain perpetuals, but after here, the design evolution and post FTX acceleration, I think this would be a very interesting topic for us to discuss once we have a guest over, and we'll talk about the history of perpdexes. And in our next episode. So, what about now? So today's reality is that modern perpetual dexes handle billions in volumes, great, offer deep liquidity and tight spends, okay, reveal centralized exchange and speed, remain non-custodial, and permissionless. So it's fully decentralized. Interesting. Well, I have so many other questions just by reading this. I have some questions like when did it become popular, and like who really triggered this scene, right? But we only have a certain amount of time, and we're almost done with our 1 hour session. But we have a lot of questions. That's great, because when we have a lot of questions, this means that we can produce many episodes to talk about, right? We can talk about like, oh, AMM, like who really popularized the perpdexes, and why does it have to be that way, to be honest, right? It's like interesting. But I just want to make sure that we have a solid takeaway from today's session. Let me see the chat. Is that okay? So for today, we're almost towards the end, but for today, I wanted to wrap up with a quick summary. Right? Today, we learned today that perpdexes, you need some important prerequisites. Like you need to have wallets, which we'll have a separate sessions how to have that connected, right? And I'm sure it might be. I guess it could be the same. It might be different. It really depends on the country. I don't know. That's another questions and another topic for us to talk about in the next episode. But here it says perpdexes is a blockchain-based platform for trading perpdex future in the contract with no expiry date, meaning 24/7, runs 24/7. Very important. And unlike centralized exchanges, it is non-custodial, meaning it is decentralized, and it uses smart contract oracles to automate pricing. And we're talking about AMMs time to time, which we'll talk about it in the future, and different designs like AMMs and order books and hybrid, and we'll revisit that. And when they're trading at perpdex, they can leverage long or short, and there we saw that you can do like 10 times leverage, 20 times, 50 times. But I guess that really depends on which perpdexes you use. Okay. And perpdex combine the flexibility of derivatives from the trustless nature of DeFi, and positioning them as the future of decentralized trading. And I think it is, because imagine trading decentralized, just like at least it feels like just trading directly, but the whole system is decentralized. So it's very interesting. Okay. Now we only have like 5 minutes. I need to have a closing very soon. But today was a first episode of Noob Journey, and again, this is a show where I'm learning perpdex from ground up. and I'm taking you along the entire journey. So it might not be so organized because I'm like throwing out questions out there, answering questions that were being brought up in the live chat. So um, it might be unorganized, but we have a lot of topics that we can go over in the future. And again, this is happening live, and you'll be able to see replays at Nevada TV. So visit there and check there and chat over there, because when you talk with other traders, you'll earn points at Nevada TV. And if you're new and you're unsure, it's fine. It's perfectly fine. I'm new as well. I'm learning as well. And we have community members there, and that's where all the community members hangs out. So go there and enjoy and have fun. And for today, that is it. Thank you for joining me today. If there's any other feedback or anything that you'd like to talk about, or anything that you would like me to cover in our next episode, please leave a comment, or when there's a replay happening right now, just leave it at the live chat, and I'll take a note and discuss in our next episode. Thank you again, and we'll see you next week around this time. Thank you. Bye-bye.